2 years ago, Instagram launched Instagram Shops with 26 brands, including Prada, Dior, Michael Kors, Nike, and Adidas. Now, of course, we learn that Instagram is in fact defocusing from shopping and refocusing more on its core business of advertising. Now, this is important because many consumers are now starting their shopping journeys away from the brand site, shopping at the edge. Social in particular is a great place for discovering new products and new brands, but what's the quality of the shopping experience from that discovery process down the new funnel all the way through to purchase and then ultimately maybe even to returns? So we asked our research team to go and mystery shop all of the 26 launch brands, really to pick out some lessons learned about what brands can do to optimize that shopping experience when the journey starts on Instagram. And there are some fascinating insights that come out from this. One of the first is that only 16 of the 26 of those launch brands are still using Instagram for checkout. And earlier on, I sat down with Aaron, our researcher, to really try and understand a bit more about that. So Aaron, let me turn to you now. Tell me a little bit why that might be. You've shopped all 26 brands. You've bought products, gone through the returns process, so you're now an Instagram checkout expert. What are your impressions of shopping on Instagram and why it might be that some of those brands are now changing plans?
Well, Charles, in the simplest of terms, it's just easier to shop on the brand site than shopping on Instagram Shop. So there's tons of issues that you have on Instagram Shop that pop up for you as a user when you're shopping. So product availability, promotions not being available that are available on the brand site. Let's say an Old Navy offered their 2-4-6-8 sale or 60% off for 4th of July. You don't see that on Instagram Shop whatsoever. The returns process is horrendous, and just basic usability and searching through classic shopping experience. So I want to find men's jeans. Even that is very difficult to do on Instagram.
So if you're just going back to the pricing for a moment and promotions. So if you're a savvy shopper, basically it's going to be cheaper to buy on the brand site because of the promotions that are running.
100%. You have on the brand site, you have your sign up promotions, 20% off if you sign up as a member, 35% off, whatever the case may be. You get none of that on Instagram Shop. And so as you say, most people like to find coupons online and shop around. So the brand site just offers you so much more availability in terms of...
So all those seasonal promotions are not being kind of carried through.
Exactly.
I think another factor is also out of stocks as well. Do you want to talk through a little bit about what you've seen and what you've observed in terms of where you can buy products successfully and where it's more challenging?
So on the Instagram Shop, I would say maybe 80% of products are sold out, which can be very frustrating if you're shopping through and you want to make a purchase.
Is that just a function of post-pandemic supply chain stuff, or?
In my opinion, it's that a lot of these brands have just taken a hands-off approach to their Instagram shops. So you can see on a brand like a NYX Cosmetics that actively tags on their posts. They're making sure that they're redirecting into their shop off of every post that might not even have a product. But every single post has a view shop, tags and things of that nature. Then you'll see other brands that you can just tell their collections are being auto-generated. They're not curating their shop. So in many times it feels as if though at the beginning of the pandemic they decided to put their shop up, and now they've just taken the hands-off approach where we might get a couple sales here or there, but we're not going to take an active approach into making sure that the shop is providing everything that it possibly could.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so product availability issues, clearly a factor. Probably this is down to the synchronization of the inventory going on between the brand site, playing the master, and ultimately what's happening on this other store and maintenance issues. Let's talk about returns, because you shopped 21 shops, you bought products, you returned them. We know from our research that many people, actually Instagram shoppers, have not yet done a return. So most people haven't. It's still relatively early days. So that makes you an expert in returns. You're probably, you're probably the guy because you've been through it.
Yeah.
And no doubt your office is full of boxes right there. I have to go back. But we also know from our research that when people do returns, 2/3 of them are less committed, less likely, in fact, to want to buy again on Instagram, and more likely to want to then ultimately buy from the brand site. So can you just talk a little bit through some of your returns experience and what you found, what you learned?
Yeah, definitely. I also want to stress the exchanges part of this as well, right? So there's 3 ways you can conduct a return or an exchange on Instagram Shop. You can request a return from through Instagram. Instagram sends a message to the brand, and 24 to 48 hours later, you might get a return label for the brand, or then the brand might ask you for additional details to conduct this return. You also can get a code from Instagram, and they give you the URL to go to process the return on the brand site. But we have the fantastic issue that I ran into numerous times, where the Instagram code that you're given to conduct a return is not accepted by the brand site. So you can spend, so you have to spend a wonderful 15 minutes speaking with customer service. And I've been on the other end, and I could tell that he's probably processed this maybe once or twice. He's calling down the line, trying to figure out what we need to do. So in terms of processing an exchange, let's say I love the product, but I just need a large. It's just extremely frustrating, and you just won't want to go through that process ever again. And then you have the easiest process, where the brand site just provides the return label with the box. And in terms of that, obviously that's very easy and very simple, because it's there. You can process it right away.
Right, so there's a best practice right there, which is if you are selling on Instagram, put all the returns information in the package itself.
Yes.
Cuts out a whole lot of hassle. Yeah, absolutely. And on some of those brands, you also did a return on the brand site. So what was the comparison between the two?
So obviously all the logistics are in order if you're shopping through the brand site. So you're getting the brand's order ID number. In most cases, if you're shopping through the brand site, you get almost a mini profile created for you. Where if you're in your receipt, you can hit a link, and it takes you to a little portal where you can process your exchange or return, and it's very hassle-free. So I think that's the best term for it. If you're processing a return or exchange on the brand side, they've done this for X amount of years. At this point, they figured it out, so it's very hassle-free to do on the brand side.
Yeah. So it kind of explains the data that we then see, which is, why do people ultimately, or many people, 70%-ish, something like that, of online shoppers prefer to shop on the brand site than shop on social. Social is a great place for discovering products, love that, right?
Yes.
But actually the brand site then gives them a better actual shopping experience. And when you come to things like promotions, you get better prices potentially, and also from the point of view of then if they have to return something, it's easier. Yeah, well, thank you very much for shopping all of these brands and going through the returns process. You were a fantastic researcher, and thank you very much for doing that. I think what we can conclude is that there's some immaturity in the Instagram platform itself. There's some functionality missing. Searching, for example, is a bit of a mess and stuff like that. There's synchronization issues between what happens on the store and what happens on the brand site and on the Instagram store. The returns process is challenging, the usability issues, and fundamentally it seems like many brands are not really investing the right amount of time to make this a great experience and are fully committed to it. And that might be because the platform's still immature. It might be, of course, they've got other things to do, and of course maintaining multiple sites is a burden in its own right.
Very difficult, yeah.
But Aaron, thanks very much. It's been great.
Of course, thank you.